everyone. Welcome to Special Presentation with Mike and Ethan. Or,
Alf will not be seen tonight.
Mike, how many things can you think of that you could literally count on one hand?
Like you mean with the terminate with the number 5?
Right.
I can think of like 5 things. Fingers.
Yeah, that's a good one, actually.
Wait, I can think of another one. Toes.
Toes, but you have 10
Oh,
toes.
okay. All right. Well, okay. Wait, I can think of 4 things that I can count to 5. One hand, fingers, your other fingers, your toes, and your other toes. Okay, that's
Okay,
it.
that's a good one. Okay. Well, I mean, maybe it's not quite something you can count on one hand, but there sure aren't a lot of adaptations of webcomics.
No. We have looked at Sabrina Online. It adapted into a radio play.
Yes. Unofficially, though, so I wouldn't count
Right.
that.
Oh, okay. So unofficially, let's see what other webcomics have been turned into other things.
And officially, let's see. There's Axe Cop. That actually had a
Okay.
primetime show.
Oh, okay. That's weird. Or is it? I guess not. That is exactly the sort. That did come out in the prime of the the Purple Monkey dishwasher internet, where
Yeah.
like
Yes. The Zombie Ninja Bacon Grease
yeah,
era.
where like
Right.
things that were epic or awesome were being adapted into traditional media. So it makes sense that Axe Cop would get that. Okay. Let's see. There's also Control Delete, which we did look at.
Yes. We did, in fact, do Control Delete. We did. But what's the one with the cats? Damn.
Cats.
Whisker Kitties? Something
Oh,
like
Laxadaisy?
Lackadaisy.
Yes.
How did I get Whisker
Whisker
Kitties?
Kitties. Yes, so that was adapted. Let's see. There was that what Marry Me, which became an actual theatrical movie. Um,
Oh yeah. When we're talking about Korean webcomics, then you have to have a huge mutant hand like a sea anemone because tons of them get adapted.
yeah, yeah. Let's see. Are there any other ones? I cannot think of any other web comics that really.
Let's see. Let's see. Looking at my own favorite webcomics, there's no animated dinosaur comics. There's no animated Bob the Angry Flower.
Hmm,
There's no animated Cat and Girl.
hmm,
Let's see. What else have I got? There's no animated adaptation of Boy on a Stick and Slither. God damn
hmm,
it.
hmm.
Um,
Well, let's see. I'm gonna let's dive. Let's reach way down into the before times of webcomics. There's no adaptation of Box Jam's Doodle. There's no adaptation of Superiosity. There's no adaptation of Chopping Block. No adaptation of Keenan and Kel. Oh wait, Kevin and Kel.
Keenan and Kel.
Not the one about
Kevin
Kevin
and
and
Kel.
Kel.
You mean?
The
Yeah.
one about the animals that eat each other. There's no adaptation of Ein Stück Natur. There's no adaptation of God. Okay, I'm out of web comics. I can't think of any more.
Yeah. Yeah. I love so many webcomics, but I can't actually name that many off the top of my head. I mean, you know, it, we should you know, we should probably do something about Homestuck one of these days, but that is such a tome.
Yeah, that's like One Piece. There's really no there's really no on ramp anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm sure we could just have a guest on who likes Homestuck, and I'm sure they will regale us for hours about the nuances of Homestuck.
I'll bet all of our guests who are fans of Homestuck, all of our fans who are fans of Homestuck too, are shooting off into space like Stimpy when he heard about the contest to be on the Money Mudskipper show. It's like that could be me.
Oh yeah, that's right. So come on to a special presentation where I will not be seen tonight, and you can talk about Homestuck, I guess. I am not enthused about this idea. I am the opposite of enthused about talking about Homestuck. Uh,
So it better be someone that we
it
really
better
like. That's
be.
really, that is really, really
Yeah,
charismatic.
if you're gonna
And
come
all of our
on.
fans are now like,
Oh, yeah,
oh.
if you're coming on here to talk about Homestuck, you're gonna have to carry the whole show yourself because I intend to be a real pant load on the Homestuck episode. I mean, I am gonna be I am gonna be a bigger cunt than usual on that Homestuck episode.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's saying something.
No, I mean, wow. Shit.
You know how I.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
Ethan,
Oh my god.
you know how I can be. You know that I am. I can be I can be the littlest bitch. Anyway, but why are but some webcomics have received adaptations.
Yes, very recently. And, to the great surprise of those of us who have never actually read them and didn't realize there was more than one.
Really? So
Yeah, I didn't realize that this was a regular comic strip. I thought it was like a drawing somebody did. Like, like Dick
are
Butt.
you kidding me? Because
Yeah.
this was one of my favorite comics in the early years of the internet. You know, um,
I'm just not that familiar with it. I'm actually reading it as we speak and trying to figure out if what we watched is at all related to it. And I guess it kind of is.
yeah, it's definitely it's an interesting. Sometimes when you adapt something, you reimagine it, and this is definitely one of those things. It is.
Because I mean, there was no way to make an actual animation out of it as
No.
is.
Well, no. You could try. I could definitely see someone making a 100% faithful to the original comic strip adaptation of this in the style of like one of those deliberately shitty Adult Swim cartoons.
Yeah, it would look like 12-ounce mouse.
Yeah. But the thing is, and you could do that, but I feel like that would get old really fast in animated form. And, it works as a comic strip. Or should we say what we're actually talking about? We've been very cagey about it so far.
We've been very cagey. It turns out that what we're actually talking about is Pokey the Penguin.
Yes. So you kids out there who are old may remember Pokey the Penguin. Pokey the Penguin is one of the Ur web comics. It started in 1998. So that is like literally the year that web comics started in my head, because that's when we get like stuff like Sluggy Freelance and Sinfest,
Melon Pool,
Melonpool, God, Ozzy and Millie, Roomies, Nukies, God, fucking other things.
I think Penny Arcade started around
Penny
then,
Arcade, Phantasmal. Oh God, what other things did people look at back then? What other comic strips were people reading in the then? I think of this as this is the Doctor McNinja days, if you remember. A different internet when well, God, yeah. Actually, 1998 is a very different internet.
Very different internet. There were no. In 1998, not only was there no social media, there was also no real instant messaging service. In 1998, you either had actual AOL, the walled garden service, or you didn't talk to people because AIM wasn't a free service they provided.
Yeah. And into this world came Pokey the Penguin. And Pokey the Penguin is a comic strip that like a lot of comic strips in the beginning were kind of trying to recreate newspaper comics on the internet. And most of them were very bad at it. We've discussed before how, a few kind of were able to really capture the newspaper style and parlay that into, careers. You see that with like Oz and Millie. Octopus Pie was one who kind of did that. I think more that became more of like a comic book style though, and things like what is that? What is the one that's Short Packed as well? I
Yeah.
think.
Well, Short Pack evolved from Roomies, but
Oh,
yeah, that's
okay,
very
right,
much.
right. So there's a lot of comics that did that. Pokey the Penguin is a comic that basically threw out all the rules. This was avant-garde theater. It was just very crudely drawn MS Paint figures that were clearly copy pasted, very much like dinosaur comics in a way. Um,
Yeah.
but
In fact, so that's one of the reasons that I didn't realize there was more than one of them.
Yeah, it was a series, and it's interesting because it is very Dada. Like the punchlines make no sense. Nothing really makes any sense in it. There's not really any continuity, and very often, like you'll notice, that, like the dialogue will be like scratched out. As if this was,
Yeah.
yeah, it's got almost like a House of Leaves feel to it, to be honest. Um, and I feel,
One thing I noticed is that, with very rare exceptions, the only form of punctuation anyone uses is three exclamation
yeah,
points, or three question marks, or nothing.
yeah, it
No one ever uses a period in this comic.
No, it's hard to say. Like, I'm obviously I know very little about the genesis of Pokey the Penguin or anything behind the scenes because I don't do research. That's not the way I roll. But I'm actually surprised at how little there is on the Wikipedia page because I just assumed since this was adapted into a cartoon that clearly the authors of Pokey the Penguin were probably being feted as like the enfants terrible of the webcomic scene, as well they should, and
Yeah.
finally receiving their due as big celebrities, like I don't know. All these webcomic people who become big celebrities, like the fucking Randall Munroe or something, where it's
Yeah.
like, oh, he gets to be on Stephen Colbert, okay, but it looks like there's not a whole lot about the authors of Pokey the Penguin. Um, Literally, the authors. That is who it is attributed to. Uh, Although, apparently, the actual author behind it is an open source developer named Steve Havalka of Portland, Oregon, and he's had a co author named Natty Strange from Philadelphia who's occasionally contributed. Um, Anyway, it's a very strange comic. It really feels like it's trying to. It feels like it's trying to evoke the feel of a small child creating this thing,
Yeah.
and which I wonder if I mean, there's nothing here that indicates that's actually the thought process, but I suspect it might have been because there were a lot of shitty comics on the web back then being made by literal
Oh yeah.
children, and I feel like this was kind of a parody of a web comic, but it did kind of tap into that early internet kind of non sequitur humor that you know
Yeah.
uh, there are a few web comics that really did that well. Bob the Angry Flower is probably the best one to get that sweet spot between making sense and not making
Yeah.
sense.
Yes, I was a huge Bob fan in high school, and I was trying to learn how to tell a Bob joke by looking at observing them and being like, okay, each one either contains two absurdities and then something comically banal, or two banalities and something comically absurd.
Yeah, yeah. I do remember in one of there's one Bob adventure where he comes home and there's a skeleton at his house who's I can't
Yes,
remember the skeleton's name, but the skeleton threatens him, and
Dr.
that's it.
Renticulus.
And it ends with Bob throwing raisins at him, saying that like he takes advantage of a skeleton's well-known fear of raisins or something. And
Yes.
in the book, like there's a little annotation by Stephen Notley saying originally that the punchline was going to be Bob saying like, "Oh, you got the wrong house. You want like Steve the Happy Flower down the street." And Stephen Notley was all like, "Well, I decided that's not the kind of comic that I wanted to do, i.e., not funny." And and it's like, yeah, he knows where his bread is buttered. So
Right.
um, So Pokey is also very big on non sequiturs, but unlike Bob, there's really no nexus of logic. So this is a lot more. This is more of an acquired taste, I think, because
I have, although I'm not familiar with Pokey, I am familiar with many comics that are like Pokey, which were probably, actual Pokey, imitations.
mm,
One that I was actually a pretty big fan of was Farchi Archie.
I'm not familiar with that one.
This one is actually was actually created by Neil Cicerega, who you may have heard of for inventing like half the things you didn't know he invented on the
Oh,
internet.
he does all those videos
And
of cows.
uh, are there cows in them? He definitely did cows, but there was. Oh, are you thinking of Syriac?
Oh,
No, no, no,
oh,
no. That's
maybe is he? He doesn't do the videos of cows like morphing.
no, that is
Oh,
Syriac.
okay,
Yeah,
so that's a
okay,
different
that's
guy.
no different guy. No, he was, but you're probably because he did create animutations, which is a little different.
Oh, so Neil Ciceroga, I have heard the name. He's the guy. He's in New Kids on the Rock, I think, and he did mouse sounds.
Yes, mouth sounds. That was his thing,
Okay.
and he's also done a bunch of original things for videos from the internet. But he also had a webcomic called Farchi Archie that was very similar to Pokey the Penguin, except all the characters were a single paper doll-like body with a different Archie character's head on it.
Okay, well, I'm amused. Was the style of humor kind of similar? I'm guessing, or
Yeah. Here, let me share with you my favorite Farchi Archie if I can dig it up here. Let me see if I can find. Yeah, here we go. Yes, this one is titled Farchi Archie in Hitler's Revenge.
oh, early webcomics loved Hitler.
Yeah, they
he was
did.
like he was so funny in those days.
Yes. So this one starts with a panicky Mr. Lodge saying, "What do you want from me?" And Archie, wearing sunglasses, says, "I have a business proposition, Mr. Lodge." "Oh, tell me about that." And then, "You follow Farchi." And he speeds ahead as Mr. Lodge says, "Don't go so fast. I've got wrinkly old feet." Farchi Archie is now standing in front of a bottle of Aunt Jemima Light syrup.
Okay.
And he says, "This is my dear old Aunt Jemima." And he continues, "You see, she wants to have a baby."
Okay.
And Mr. Lodge says, "Hot damn, I'll do this for free."
Okay. Is that the punchline?
That's the whole thing,
Okay,
yeah.
that's pretty amusing. Okay, so it is a similar vein of kind of absurdist humor, um,
Yes.
uh, which was again big on the internet in those days.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is I feel like in God it was like the Wild West. You had all sorts of crazy new forms of humor being discovered and pioneered by a new generation of weirdos, the first generation of
Yes.
internet weirdos. And now, because we live in this social media thing where the edges are filed off everything, and everything that you put online has to equally appeal to it has to be all things for all people. You just get,
Mm,
everything is now just, I don't know. It's
sludge.
sludge. It's
Yeah.
sludge.
It's
It's
slop.
like,
It's AI
yeah,
slop. Even when it's not AI, it's still slop because that's the only thing that gets through the
yeah.
filters.
I mean, so that is why. What a terrible world we're living in right now. We don't have quality stuff like Pokey the Penguin or Farchi Archie anymore. We don't
Right.
even have like, oh, God. I was trying to think of another web comic that like was another weird web comic from the day, but they're all fading, fading. Um,
Uh, I mentioned Boy on a Stick and Slither. That one reminds me a lot of Pokey in some ways.
mm, mm. Okay, I'm not familiar with that one either, actually. Um,
Boy on a Stick is literally a child's head on a stick, and he has absurdist conversations with a snake. Like, "Oh, what do you remember?" "I remember when I first got my fangs." "I remember that time you swallowed a puppy." The mommy dog cried.
Oh yeah. Oh, now I remember what. And we had like things like President Ass. Do you remember President?
President
Yeah,
Ass.
President Ass. It was about the president being stupid. What if a stupid man was president? I totally. It was that was a comic.
That's never happened
Oh
before.
no.
3 times, 4 times.
It was created by the I don't know who this guy was. It was this kind of or guys, the one who made like a bunch of comics. He made like a bunch of comics like Fat Jesus and Owly.
Oh, I remember Fat Jesus. I really liked Fat Jesus, but it was kind of frustrating to read because the guy kept saying, "Oh, I got my schedule all wrong. We're just going to skip to the next story."
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. And it was like, and then Fat Jesus kind of disappeared from his own comic.
Yeah, which is disappointing because he was a good character.
Yeah, that guy, I think is doing Owly, which I see occasionally at the comic book store. It seems to now have been retooled for children because we're at this point again where, which is we're back at the comics are for children zone because it used to be comics were for children, and then everyone decided like no, comics can be for adults. We're gonna make comics for adults. This ain't your dad's comic anymore. This is for adults. Now, adults can also appreciate funny pictures drawn sequentially. And that was kind of a thing. But then, like, apparently, like, at some point, comics as a concept just imploded because of Diamond, I think. And,
Fucking Diamond.
yeah.
Oh my god.
And then, and so comics have, for a long time, just been in the shitter. But everyone tells you, like, no, actually, comics are doing really well for children, and it's like
Yeah.
okay, so we're
Now the biggest comics publisher is Scholastic.
yeah,
So you get the same. So you get your comics from the same source as your binoculars.
yeah. Which you know what? That's fine. Children can read comics. I have no beef with children reading comics. It's fine.
Children should read comics. I think that's why they're doing so well. Is because parents realize, hey, comics weren't bad for me when I was a kid. Comics were great. They're a huge benefit to a kid's literacy if they just get in the habit of reading something.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's a comic or a regular book. Either way, reading is important.
Yeah.
So
I just get annoyed because back when I was making comics, back when I was attempting to like do something, in comics, and it was difficult because, as you know, the comics business is a hard business because it works by never paying anyone, and that's the business model. And I knew this guy who kept trying to like tell me like, actually, no, comics are doing really good right now. You're gonna just look at look at these graphs, and I'm just like, those are children's comics. Like I get that they're doing well, but that's not what I do. This is not helpful for me because this is not my genre. It was kind of like talking to Disco Stew, where he's like trying to say how look, disco sales are at an all-time high, 1978. If this trend continues, So I was always like really annoyed about the whole like, oh, comics are great. Yeah, for children, but like, but that's a personal thing. In real life, it's good that children read comics, and it's good that they make comics for children. People who make comics for children should still be paid. I think. I hope they are getting paid. I hope they're getting paid well. And
is anyone besides Dav Pilkey getting paid for their children's comics?
probably Raina Telgemeier, I'm guessing. I think. I don't know how you say her name because I'm stupid.
Yeah. Dana Who's-Her-Face from Charlie and the Unicorns is doing those too.
Yeah,
Right?
Charlie and the Unicorns. I love Charlie's Unicorns. The new it's like there's like a spy show. I would watch that. That sounds great, actually. Oh wait, wasn't it Charlie, Candy Mountain Charlie? You remember that?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, like, what a coincidence that you mentioned unicorns and Charlie in the same sentence, because there actually was a unicorn named Charlie. Speaking of the old internet, back in 2008,
Yeah.
I think, or possibly.
Yeah, that's something I would never have heard of if a bunch of friends hadn't shown me the whole thing at a sleepover or something. Yeah, I was still having sleepovers at age 28.
Oh boy. Well,
Actually, wait, I've slept over at your house. That's not even fun.
yeah. Well, that doesn't count. That counts. It's still a
Yeah,
sleepover. You
yeah.
know, because you know how it is. You hang out, you watch internet videos, you put cucumbers on your face, total sleepover stuff. Then you steal,
Yeah,
you steal a beer from your
you
dad's
decide
cabinet.
you point at people in a magazine that you're gonna marry.
Yeah. Yeah. 2008 was a magical time. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, those were the.
I'm gonna be Mrs. Ghostwriter.
That was the day when we were all like, "Oh man, you know what's really great? Lonely Girl 18." And God, the Star Wars kid, Chocolate Rain.
And ilovebees.com.
Oh my God! Do you remember I Love Turtles? Do you remember the internet?
I like
Yeah,
Turtles. Yeah, that
the
kid.
internet when it was good, back before they changed the water. But
Remember Atlanta Grape Lady?
oh my
Oh,
God! Do you remember the otter?
I'm gonna be Mrs. Atlanta
What
Grape
about the
Lady.
otters holding hands? Do you remember that one? Oh, Dax
Yes.
Flame. What about Average Homeboy? All your base.
I don't know
You
that
don't
one.
remember Average Homeboy? You gotta.
No.
It's that was this guy Denny Blaze, and he was like, it's really hard. He was trying to start, I guess, a rap career, and his gimmick before his time, he was like, all the rap songs out there are about being like a black guy from the streets. There aren't a lot of rap songs about being like just an average guy from the suburbs, so, an average white guy. So his thing was like, I'm gonna speak to this demographic. I'm the average homeboy, and he did like a terrible rap video with like awful like vocoder sounds and everything.
Oh
And it's just
yeah.
I just realized like, oh my God, if he did that today, if he would probably be a huge hit. Because people are ready for like white people. They're
Yeah.
very popular
Well,
right
it's
now.
about time that white people got their due in this
Yeah,
country.
I'm saying that's a very popular sentiment right now. He was trying to do this in the like PC 90s, so that wasn't going to work. All the like all the like the wokies and feminazis were like, we don't want to see average homeboy. No, actually, but he actually really sucked. But it was funny. It was a funny video because he was bad at his chosen profession. Um, but anyway, the internet used to be good. There used to be things on the internet where you could see, and they would make you laugh and think about how your life was enriched for having experienced this. And you could share them with your friends, and your friends would also be amused. It's not like today where you look at the internet and it's just a nonstop fire hose of the worst possible things that humanity has to offer. Uh,
Yes, we are the last remaining piece of that original internet. There's nothing good on the internet anymore but
That's
us.
right. So that's why you like a smart person are listening to our podcast where we
Yes,
remember the good things about the internet, like
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 Homestuck.
Homestuck, I guess. Well, I guess why are we all talking about Homestuck when we could be talking about Homestar?
Fuck yeah!
Now that was Homestar Runner. Now that was, I feel like, a transitional phase between old internet and new internet. Like when it came out, I remember it was kind of like I remember thinking like this is different. Things will be different from now on, and
Yeah,
they kind of were. Anyway, those guys
yeah,
went on to do like stuff for Gravity Falls, right? And
yeah.
so
There are co-writers and voices on Gravity Falls, and of course they had their own show on the Disney Channel, Two More Eggs.
yeah, with Trunkles.
Yeah, I love Trunkles. Oh my god. And I didn't initially, but I came to really love Hot Dip too.
Hot dip is more of an acquired taste.
Yes, it's not for
No,
moms.
no. But and that's why I'm kind of so Pokey the Penguin is one of those early internet things. It doesn't feel like it's poised to ever be anything other than what it originally is. Um, Even though,
And yet here we
yeah,
are.
it just feels like this is something you cannot make it anything else. It is too singular to the webcomic form. But they adapted it. They turned it into an animated cartoon. Um, is it Flash animated. It looks like it's from the age of Flash, but I think it's actually modern. So it won't be because Flash is dead. It's is it Flash? How?
No, it's fully rendered CGI.
Oh, okay. All right. So they put some effort into this. Um,
They really did, yes.
yeah.
And this is like a 5 minute pilot, I think. I don't know if or when there's going to be another animated Pokey the Penguin adventure,
Mm.
but the characters have taken a quantum leap forward in their design. But now that I'm a little more familiar with the cast of Pokey the Penguin, I can say, yes, this is not just something where they had a penguin and they named him Pokey. This is, in fact, an adaptation of the comic strip. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the comic strip a little bit because we mentioned the form. It's just kind of very crudely drawn, copy pasted MS Paint drawings of penguins mostly.
Yes.
The main character is Pokey. He's a penguin. He like you mentioned, he yells a lot of things. Mostly don't make sense, and always with three exclamation marks. He lives in the Arctic Circle, and if there can be said to be any sort of recurring plots or continuing ideas, it's mostly that he is always trying to get Arctic Circle candy. That is the thing that is the MacGuffin of Pokey the Penguin, and he's very often thwarted by the Italians. Pokey doesn't like the Italians, and that's I guess what I should say is Pokey the Penguin pioneered the incredibly fertile comic um, milieu of jokey anti-Italian prejudice, which
So it's not you.
no, I am not the first person to make fun of the Italians. It was Pokey who did it first, I think.
Yes. Blame him.
Yeah. So yeah, if anyone, whenever people are mad at me for my anti-Italian prejudice, I'm just like, I learned it from you, Dad. Pokey the Penguin. I don't think.
It would be very funny if Pokey the Penguin was, did a call out post on you for your anti-Italian.
Now, usually when Pokey meets the Italians, it's just like a ship kind of on the horizon because he lives in the Arctic, so you can see a boat with an Italian flag on it. I think occasionally, if Italians do appear, it's basically just a recolor of the Pokey sprite because most characters are just recolors of the Pokey sprite. There are a few characters we get. Other characters. There's a little girl who is again basically Pokey. I think she's got a bow drawn on her head, but she's basically Pokey, and I think she's just called Little Girl. And she sometimes interacts with Pokey. There's a snowman named Mr. Nutty, and he talks. His thing is that he talks with like a wacky British accent. So he calls people old bean and old chap and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he's kind of the Bubs of the comic strip. Like he's usually got some like scam or angle that he's trying to do, and then there's also the Skeptopotamus, who is who's a hippopotamus. Not a hippopotamus. He's drawn like a hippopotamus, but I think he's not a hippopotamus. But he's skeptical of things, and that's his bit. And I think those are the main characters. Actually, I don't recall if there's any other ones.
Yeah, I don't see any others apart from just general other penguins.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of different penguins who may or may not be recolored, but basically it doesn't matter. It's wacky shenanigans. Nothing makes sense. It's just very silly. So they decided to, in this pilot, make things make a little more sense. It's not like they definitely they reimagined Pokey for new media, and I think they did. I feel like these are the same characters though.
Yes, it's sort of like Batman 1966 versus Batman 1989. They made things shinier and better looking, but this is still Pokey and nutty. It's still Batman in the
Yeah,
jungle.
yeah. Um, so we I thought it was interesting that Pokey's design in this, he does look like a penguin. I think they give him the little stripe on his beak like he's a rock hopper or something.
Yeah.
And uh
He looks like, I'm not sure if it's just like a basic penguin model that they grabbed off the internet or what, but he has very distinctive faces and gestures. So they're not just copy and pasting him like they do in the comic strip.
yeah, I mean that's probably the biggest difference because like the comic strip, since it's a copy paste, the jokes rely very much on the absurdist dialogue, and since the dialogue is absurdist, it's often very much just like random words being shouted or
Yes.
phrases phrases that like leave out important like conjunctions and prepositions. So it's got like that kind of that feel of I like a caveman talking.
Yeah.
And they do not port that over to the series. These characters speak in full sentences, so that's different.
Also, they are in fact animated puppet style. I don't know what I was thinking. I just didn't have it in front of me when I was saying that it was full CGI.
Oh, okay. I honestly like when I heard there's going to be a Pokey the Penguin series, I was like, it's just going to be animated like the Spamtopia scenes in Smiling Friends. What else are they going to do? But no, it's not that. Probably for the best. We do see we see a few of the major characters in this because Pokey is of course here. Mr. Nutty is in this as well, and
Yes. And it is revealed for the first time that Mr. Nutty's nose is a radish, not a carrot.
yeah, I thought that was an interesting little tidbit. Um, we also see the little girl makes a very brief appearance here, and she is actually a baby penguin in this. So she's not just a Pokey recolor; they actually drew her as a baby penguin.
Oh, okay.
And
So I didn't realize it was the same character at first. And boy, she has got an enormous fucking ruby around her neck. Damn.
I guess I'm sure there's a reason for that. It's probably something in Pokey canon that I am forgetting. Because we also get the Skeptopotamus also makes a cameo in this.
Yeah.
Um, and there's a few other nods because we do see the basic premise of this is that Pokey hears that you can make money as a lawyer, so he becomes a lawyer, and he takes a case from Mr. Nutty because Mr. Nutty has. Well, it sounds like Mr. Nutty has somehow accidentally sold the DMV to the Catholic Church, is what's happening.
Yeah, he sold the same land to both the DMV and the Catholic Church, so he's charged with not separating church and state.
Oh, gotcha. That's right. That's it. Okay. And we do get some nice little like gags where we see the church run DMV where they have uh, they're baptizing babies in the water fountain and stuff like that. That's.
And the Skeptopotamus has to take his eye exam, and it's things like Jesus, Jesus, Mary, cracker.
Transubstantiation.
Yeah, we don't see what transubstantiation looks
Yeah.
like.
So Mr. Nutty is in trouble for this, and Pokey is going to be his lawyer in court. Uh, so that's the basic premise of this. We do get some, nice little nods to the comic strip because for one, when Pokey is like putting out his shingle as a lawyer, he gets the piece of wood from a shipwrecked ship that has the Italian flag on it. So
Oh.
so a little bit of a nod to Pokey's long-standing rivalry with the Italians. Don't think we see any.
And I guess I assumed that the church was Italian Catholics
I mean,
too.
that
So
makes sense as well. I remember like I do like the line where Mr. Nutty is like lamenting this whole thing, and he's like, "Who knew the Catholic Church was so powerful?" But the Catholics are the Catholic Church is all penguins too in this, which is kind of in keeping with the comic strip where everyone's just a penguin.
Yeah, I especially like Pokey's lawyer outfit.
Oh, where it's the he's got the little like beanie copter hat and
Yeah, he's got a beanie copter with a mechanic's hat fringe around it, and he's got a light up stoplight tie.
yeah, the judge is not keen on this. The judge is like your outfit makes a mockery of this courtroom. Pokey is a little bit more of like I think what we call a wacky man child sort in this than I would have expected. Um,
Yeah, he doesn't come across that much that way in the comic strip, but he also doesn't have a very distinctive personality in the comic strip apart from yelling
Yeah,
things.
I mean, I think they had to give him a little something more to maintain interest in this new media. So they developed him a little bit more like, yeah, he's like most like almost every web comic has, the main character is kind of a wacky man child who has kind of wacky schemes, and Pokey does that here. Like Mr. Nutty is also kind of a wacky schemer, but there's a distinction here. I think Mr. Nutty is kind of a successful wacky
I think
schemer. Mm-hmm.
I think he's less the bubs in this than he is the coaches here.
Yeah, I think you might be right on that. So Mr. Nutty, he's a related but distinct archetype.
Yes.
He I
While Pokey comes across as more of the smirking con
Yeah.
man, more of a kind of a Peter Venkman
yeah.
type.
I do like that. Of course, Mr. Nutty does have his British accent though, because you have to have that. Um,
Yes.
that is non-negotiable. Um, but Pokey. Well, let's see. So what actually happens in this besides?
The Well, it starts with Pokey watching a commercial for Mr. Nutty's what is it? Real estate law firm. So so he's like, hey, that's a good idea. I should become a lawyer too. So he sets himself up with a law office with a forged diploma, and his first customer is Mr. Nutty, who of course got is getting sued for selling the same piece of real estate to two completely different groups, the church and the state.
Yeah, don't do that, kids. Uh,
Again,
hmm?
oh, I was gonna say that. So yeah, I feel like this whole animation was built around this sketch of showing the combination Catholic Church and DMV.
Yeah, that's really the central set piece of this whole thing, um, and it's amusing. I was entertained. Um, it's it's a little it's a sort of thing that like is a little too coherent for the comic strip,
Right.
but works in this format, like works in this variant, this alternate universe, Pokey the Penguin, um, because
I'm willing to bet that the creators have been sitting on something like this for a while. Because I mean, if you can write something like Pokey the Penguin, I'm sure you can also write something way better.
yeah.
Because Pokey the Penguin may appear amateurish, but anything that is successful and looks amateurish has a ton of talent behind it.
Yeah, Pokey the Penguin, the comic, is one of those things that's kind of interesting because it looks very easy to do. Like
Yeah, but try it.
yeah,
Try making your own Pokey.
it's a sort of thing where it's like a lot of people would be like, "Oh, you made it bad on purpose." Well, I can do that too, and it's like, yes, but you've just made something bad now. Like you just made something.
Yeah.
It is Pokey the Penguin kind of rides this very fine line where it is obviously bad, but something about it kind of makes it work. Where it's probably because it's a comic, it's short, it doesn't take up a lot, it's a quick read, so the invested time is small, but also there is a
Right.
certain cadence to how it works, so that it doesn't get too annoying, because very often things that are bad and random just are so random that you're like, I don't know what's going on. There's no like there's no connection between any of the things that are happening, and I'm bored and annoyed. Whereas Pokey can kind of, a lot of times you'll read the comic and it's like, this is very silly and it's kind of absurd, but I can kind of see the underlying logic. It feels like that there
Right.
is a logic, and they've just kind of run it through, the Xerox machine a few times. You're getting a copy of a copy of a copy, but you can still see like the ghost of the original logic that makes the joke work. And that would yeah, but again, that's not something that would probably work as well in an animated format. So
You used the word cadence earlier, and I think that that is one of the understated linchpins of comic strips as they are, because an author's cadence that you get to see every day, in such a highly refined format as a comic strip, is incredibly difficult to recreate without that author.
mm,
One of the reasons that really good comics like The Far Side and Beetle Bailey and even Peanuts. Did I say Beetle Bailey? No. Calvin and
mhm.
Hobbes. Yeah, Calvin and Hobbes. You could not recreate that with, you know, even if you got somebody who could draw Calvin and Hobbes really well, you can't recreate Bill Watterson's
No,
cadence,
no.
because that is what people love, is the way the characters say things, and you know the way he times it.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that is another element of cadence, is not just the character having a specific voice, but a specific timing.
Yes.
And I mean, Pokey the Penguin does not use timing that is anything like Calvin and
No,
Hobbes, but
no.
it's still really appealing in its own way, because it's so chaotic.
Yeah, there is a certain there's a rhythm to it that's all its own, and once you kind of you can kind of grasp it, I think, on a maybe even a subconscious level. But it's hard to describe a lot of things that make it work because, for example, we're talking about comics having very specific cadence of the author. If you remember The Far Side, right? And
Yes.
how after The Far Side came out,
The far
The
what?
Far Side, sorry,
The who side?
the closer side to us. No,
Oh,
but like after The Far Side came out, there have been like a bazillion single panel comic strips in the paper, and every single one of them is very obviously trying to do what Gary Larson did and not doing it very well. Which is interesting because I shouldn't say every single one. There are a couple that like do their own thing. Um,
yeah.
you know,
I mean, not you're not talking about things like Heathcliff, where it has like a continuing story. You're talking about things where it's clearly Far Side inspired, because it's basically like a Charles Adams cartoon in your paper.
Yes. There's a lot of ones that are like, non sequitur or in the
Yeah.
bleachers, which even tries to ape the drawing style of Gary Larson. And probably the best one is Bizarro. That one actually has kind of achieved its own style, I think. It's
I'm still a fan of the Quigmans, which is really appealing in how badly drawn it is.
oh, the Quigmans. That one. Wait. I have to look that one up because I. The name sounds so familiar, but let's see. The Quigmans. Let's see. Who are these ones? Okay, yeah. I remember this one. It's got that weird thing where it feels like Gary Larson and Sylvia had a baby.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's a lot of these single panel comics. Some are better than others. Some are better than others, but there are a lot of them you can tell are very much trying to get that je ne sais quoi of the Far Side. And I think if you remember, there is one Far Side cartoon where it's a bunch of like ducks talking, and one says chicken, and they all duck down, and chicken flies over. and the caption is like,
A chicken flies over backwards like it's been hit with a tennis
yes,
racket.
and that's right. Sorry, should say that because otherwise it gives a whole different impression. And the caption is just like, oh, so do you ever have trouble thinking of ideas? Asked the reporter. Sometimes, said the cartoonist. And the thing is,
My favorite like that is the one where there's a couple of hornets inspecting a hole in the nest, and they're dressed like cops. And one says, "This is very peculiar, Inspector. By the looks of these holes, these rocks were thrown from inside the hive." And just around the corner, inside the hive, is this 10-year-old kid with a handful of rocks. And the caption on this one is Artist G. Larson. Medium, ink on paper. Title, It Was Late and I Was Tired.
yeah. So the thing is, these are ones where Gary Larson is clearly, he's having a laugh at his own expense. But a lot of Far Side clones literally just did that kind of comic all the time, where it's like,
Yes, you may recall the episode where we looked at the comic strip Lumpy Gravy.
There's an example for you. That's the thing is so many comics just do that, but because they could not really grasp what it is that made the Far Side work, and what made it work is Gary Larson, his unique but skewed perspective on the world. But anyway, that unique but skewed perspective in Pokey, we get it. I feel like it a little bit comes across enough that these are the same characters, and if their world is a little different, I'm just going to think of it as like an AU or something.
Yeah.
We.
It's revamped for the 90s. This ain't your dad's Pokey the
Penguin. Yeah. It's like, I'll do. It's hipping with it. So anyway, Pokey basically he bribes the judge. Well, actually, I really like that. That I thought was a really funny joke. The way he does it, because he comes up and he's like, he gives the judge a thing that says like, "Let Pokey win," like a card, like a greeting card. It just says, "Let Pokey win. It'll be worth it." And the judge is like, "Guards, take him out." And Pokey's like, "But I was trying to bribe you." And the judge is like, "Oh, okay, never mind." So I was very amused by that. And so Pokey wins the case by bribing the judge and learns the lesson that like it's okay to do it if you don't get caught. But apparently the judge got caught because the judge shows up as his next client, which.
And so they add now specializing in judicial misconduct to his billboard.
So very relevant to our time right now when everything is judicial misconduct.
Yes.
Oh well.
Also, at the beginning, Pokey pulls out his wallet and a couple of moths fly out, and he goes, "My moths!" But then at the end, when he and Mr. Nutty are celebrating their win, the moths come back and they enjoy a martini with them. So closure.
Oh, I didn't. I actually completely forgot about the moths by that point, so I did not understand what was going on with that. Wow. Okay, so we have completely eschewed the absurdism of the Pokey the Penguin comic strip to now the cartoon is so structured and logical that it actually has coherent callbacks to things that happened earlier in the episode. Very impressive.
Yeah. The kind of thing that you would pick up on if if your brain wasn't melted from 30 years of Pokey the Penguin.
Shut up. I don't have to take this. I don't have to take this insult. I have to take this sort of. What? I don't remember what.
I've never been so accurately insulted.
Yeah. Why? I resemble that remark. Oh. Well, that's what happens when you read a lot of Pokey the Penguin. You get dumb. But
yeah, that's the origin of Flaming Carrot.
Oh, is that what happened with Flaming Carrot?
Not Pokey the Penguin, but supposedly he used to be a millionaire, and then on a dare he read 1,000,000 comic books in one sitting and became simple.
That's a real problem,
It happened to me.
Oh, you read 1,000,000 comic books?
Yeah, I read a million comic books, and now I have a million dumb thoughts.
Well, you know what you need to do? Pick up the phone.
Pick up the phone.
Yeah, just pick up the phone.
All you have to do is pick up the
Yeah,
phone.
just look. I pick up the phone, and now I have a million phones. I have $1 million, and I bought a million phones. Oh, pick up the phone. Oh my God, what's under the phone?
Oh my God, there's something under the phone.
Call my brother. He'll pick up the phone for you. Now, see, that's classic internet. They should bring back pick up the phone.
Yes.
Oh, love it. That's one of my
Pick up on me.
pick up the phone is one of my favorite things, except for why is the mall
Really?
closed?
I don't remember why is the mall closed. What was that
Oh,
one?
so this guy apparently, for some reason, at a mall in Canada, one of the doors was locked. The mall, though, was open apparently because there were people inside it, but this one particular door was locked, and this guy was just standing outside, going like, "Why is the mall closed? Why is the mall closed?" Just despondent, and that's always been whenever something doesn't go my way, I always just go like, "Why is the mall closed?" Anyway.
Yeah, I've had that, especially especially if it's like you ever go to what you think is a 24-hour business and they're
I
not.
hate that.
It's like, and you need to eventually parse it out that you were the one who was in the wrong, but you're just sitting there like, hey, service.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, what about me? What about my needs? You know, uh,
Come on, I'm cute.
it's like, I'm an American citizen and I pay my taxes. Why is this Gulp and Blow closed? I don't know. I couldn't think of a name of an actual establishment that exists in real life. So apparently,
Gulp
I
and
just
blow.
stole one from The
Well, the
Simpsons.
last the last business that I did that with is the one where I
Oh,
work. So,
you went to your own job and was like, why is this place closed? It's closed because you're not.
well, I didn't work there
Oh,
yet.
okay. I was gonna say, was it closed because you weren't working there? And they were like, Ethan, you're supposed to be here. We can't open till you're here.
Where have you been for the last hour? Shit, I forgot I was working.
See, now that's a Pokey the Penguin strip right there.
It really is, actually.
Oh, okay. Well, like I think this is a fairly this is a good reimagining of Pokey the concept for a new
Yeah.
millennium. But I say that as a longtime Pokey fan. But Ethan, as a newcomer to the Pokey cinematic universe, what are your feelings?
Well, you made the comparison earlier to Adult Swim shows, and I feel like Adult Swim was a huge influence on Pokey and that kind of thing. Because that was when that first came out, and I mean that got started in around 2000, but Space Ghost had been around at that time too. And there was a lot of that kind of humor going on. So I feel like Pokey the Penguin was born of that same primordial
Mm,
ooze.
mm.
And I so I feel like if this was in fact a show on Adult Swim, as a certain cartoonist that we don't like to compliment anymore said, this is not a show that I would make, but it's a show I would watch religiously and scream if my parents made me miss it and demand any merchandise that I saw on shelves for it. That was what John Kay said about Dexter's Laboratory, by the way.
Oh, well, I guess he can recognize quality when he sees it because Dexter's Lab was a
Oh, yeah.
pretty good show.
Yeah, he's not even Danish.
Yeah, I was like a huge fan of it when I was a kid. I liked I always thought it was very funny the omelette de fromage bit.
That is an all-time
Yeah.
classic.
Also, uh, uh, the bit where, oh God, there was a really funny bit they did. Oh, the oh no, wait, never mind, never mind. No, yes, no, I'm just making noises right now. The Speed Racer parody that they did on Dexter's Lab.
Yes, Mach
Yeah,
5. That was fantastic.
amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. Just like I don't like crashing. To me, crashing is bad. That's the part of racing I like the least. Classic stuff. Up there with the Johnny Bravo Scooby Doo episode. Um,
Yeah. And of course, the Dexter's Lab finale, where they were fighting something that was clearly a reference to Guiron from Gamera, and
Oh,
it's just this giant crossover between all these characters and all these references to things that you know.
ahead of its time.
Yeah, we finally get to see the actual group that Monkey and Professor and Agent Honeydew are part of, and there's something like GI Joe that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's not really what I always got them. Thought they were more of a James Bond type thing, but why not? Um, they oh yeah, because there's also the because Dexter's Lab. They also had the Justice Friends, I think, were another
Yeah, the
segment.
Justice Friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't it weird that that Warner Brothers has been sitting on these perfect parodies of Marvel characters that are also their own thing for all these years? How have they not made a Justice Friends movie yet?
That's a good point. They never made a Dexter's Lab movie, did they?
Well, there's Ego Trip, but that wasn't a theatrical movie.
Oh, that's true. I remember Ego Trip's pretty good. Um,
It is, yeah. It's right up there with like Batman Beyond: Return of the Joker
yeah,
as a direct to video movie that still really stands
yeah.
out.
I think the Powerpuff Girls got a theatrical film, didn't they? If I recall correctly.
Yeah, they did. That one was kind of disappointing by comparison.
Mm.
I remember reading an interview, not an interview. It was the review. It was, I believe, it was shoot Ebert,
Hmm.
who described the Powerpuff Girls as having no personality. There might as well be icons
Mm.
in this movie.
Hmm.
And I was like, that's ridiculous. I was like, are you sure you're not thinking of the Pokemon movie? And then I saw it and I was like, oh, damn, he's right. We barely get any real personality for them because it's not really about them. It's a Mojo Jojo origin.
Oh, that's weird because we already know his origin. We saw it in the show. Um,
Yeah. But I mean, it's like, retelling the origin and showing all the chaos that happened around
mm.
it. And, and how he ended up kind of playing himself because his plot was to make all the other monkeys in the zoo smart too. But it meant that he made about 24 other world-conquering ape
Oh,
supervillains.
um, that's interesting that you don't get much development of the Powerpuff Girls because they have very distinct personalities.
Yes,
Like
I mean, like we were just talking about how it's the threesome personality of the smart guy, the dumb guy, and the asshole.
yes,
But
exactly.
they are such a distinctive version of the smart guy, the dumb guy, and the
Yeah.
asshole that you it almost feels like it's just that is just a facet of that thing. It's like to turn it a little bit and whoop, oh, it's the Powerpuff
Yep.
Girls.
Yep.
Now you can just pretty much base any trio on the Powerpuff Girls, and it's almost like something totally different.
Mm, mm. Yeah, I think it's Margaret Cho described the dynamic once as and then there's the bitch because it was like with that it's because she was just referring to Charlie's Angels, but it's like you get the smart one, the pretty one, and then there's the bitch. But it's the same. It's a similar dynamic. Powerpuff Girls, yeah, makes it so that. Yeah, maybe it's because it's like a show for like kids. They soften
Yeah,
the edges a little bit, so they aren't which actually makes them a little more nuanced because they're not simply the not but there's layers. I think
yeah.
I haven't watched it in a
Oh
long
yeah,
time.
absolutely.
Uh,
You may have heard the interview where Craig McCracken said that part of his inspiration for the Powerpuff Girls was the '60s Batman show,
hmm.
which he was watching as like a 5-year-old and just being absolutely on the edge of his seat, and then looking back at his parents like, "Why are you laughing?"
Okay, I can see the vibe. Um, I think I have been told the original title for the show was the Whoop Ass Girls, and the network made him change
Yes, the
it.
origin was that they accidentally busted open a can of whoop
I
ass.
have to say, Powerpuff Girls is a way better title. So the network
Yeah,
was right.
yeah. Even if a whole bunch of people, can't get the name right, and they even worked that into the show.
Oh
No, it's the Powerpuff Girls.
yeah. It was a good show, though. I can see why it was such a big hit at the time. Uh,
I feel like it. I feel like it gave the world, oh shit, what's his name? Tom Kenny.
Oh, was that like one of his earlier works?
Yeah, he was the mayor and the announcer.
Oh, okay, good for him. He's gone on to like big things. So,
Oh yeah, shoot.
uh,
I mean, obviously he's SpongeBob, and the story there is that supposedly he was trying out for some other cartoon and he screwed it up, and he was standing out there outside on the hall yelling, "God damn it! God damn it! God damn it!" And somebody heard him and was like, "Hey, come in here and audition for this and use that voice." And that became the SpongeBob voice.
oh, that's funny. That's really funny. Well, good for him. He's the Mr. Show alumni that we like to remember.
Yes, not the one that's. Is he in jail?
No, I'm sure Trump has pardoned him by now, right?
I'm sure. Yeah.
It's like, well, guess what?
I don't know. He is a Hollywood guy.
Well, I feel like within the next year, what is that guy? Jimmy Johns, the guy who invented the sausages.
The guy who invented the sub sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Trump is basically going to be like, okay, comedy is illegal. We're gonna make Jimmy Johns the minister of laughs or something, and he's gonna be like the he's gonna be.
So you think he's going to get that competitive with Elon and be like, from now on, comedy is illegal again?
Well, I think very certain kinds of comedy will be legal, if you know what I mean. And I don't think it's one. I think he and Elon are kind of on the same page. Well, I don't know actually. Elon, I feel like they are slightly different because Elon likes. God, he is racist, but he's a little more.
But it's not an American kind of racism.
No,
he is from another country. So, I mean, unless he's just a general fan of oppressing people, which is entirely possible. It's possible he just doesn't get our specific American form of racism.
Yeah, like Elon is racist, but like his style of humor is basically he's got two jokes, and one is like. Memes from the early aughts. So it's just like, Rufflecopter, LMAO. Got better call.
Pick up the
phone. Better call the wambulance. Gotta have a wham burger with cries. Like things like that.
You're gonna open a winery.
Yeah, so that's basically Elon Musk's sense of humor is like saying, oh,
4chan circa 2008.
Yeah, it's basically like saying you what's this is bothering you, bro? This bothering you? You triggered? But with like memes like from 2005, like Millhouse is not a meme saying it or something, like like you triggered by my long cat is long, joke, stuff like that. That's basically like Elon Musk's thing, and the racism. He is racist, but he seems to like he again likes doing that thing where he's like, oh, maybe I'm a Nazi. Does that trigger you? And it's like, that kind of thing. That's his thing. Whereas like Trump's style of humor is literally like, oh, I want to see a minstrel show. That is literally like if you could show Trump a minstrel show, he would be like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. It would be like when they showed Birth of a Nation to like Woodrow Wilson, and he jumped up out of his seat and was like, holy shit, oh, I love this. This racism is delicious. Because, Woodrow Wilson loved racism.
Yes, he famously said it was like writing history with a lightning bolt.
Yeah. Big racist. Huge racist, Woodrow Wilson. Yeah. We often lose sight of that because we spend so much time talking about the League of Nations. Boy, that worked out. But he was also... wasn't he like a Klansman? Or like, we need more Klansmen to like, fix this country. I think he was like big into that sort of thing. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I don't read history. It's not like I was a history major.
To be honest, the fact about Birth of a Nation is the only thing I know about him.
Yeah. Well, I think I know that there was that Simpsons episode where like Bart like made up a fake date to catfish Mrs. Krabappel and took the name from Woodrow Wilson. But yeah, that's boy, that seems to be a forgotten episode. No one talks about that one.
No, that's I mean, it's kind of a it's a real downer because I mean Bart is absolutely in the wrong here, and you can see that he feels, that he's destroyed somebody that, he doesn't, maybe he doesn't show it as well as he could have, but he does care about Mrs. Krabappel, and he knows that she cares about him too. So he really feels like he's betrayed her by the time we get to the ending.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess that's why they don't have it in reruns very much. But any case,
well, that and there's like 30 other seasons.
I guess. Yeah, but like, let's be honest. There's nothing worth watching after season 10.
No. 10. Wow, you're pretty generous.
Well, where would you?
I would pretty much stop right after Smile Time Variety Hour.
Okay, well, what that is about? What season is that? Like 8?
That's the second to last one of season 8.
Okay, that's interesting because that is that is about the dividing point where they came out with the first like Simpsons episode guidebook. Because I do remember that is like the last episode listed in that, and afterwards they seem to come out with much shorter ones that were almost like appendixes to that first collection.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say that like it's good up until about the end of season 8. You're guaranteed a laugh in every episode, like a real big laugh out loud moment, which is pretty decent for a sitcom.
Yeah.
And after that, I don't think you get kind of a gradual but noticeable decline, and it's not until you get to season 10 that it's like that you're reaching the third, what is it, the thermo decline.
Yeah.
But yeah, because I remember seeing the I think we've mentioned on this show, watching the episode where Homer gets a gun and just being like, oh boy.
Yeah, they were really pulling their punches there, and it showed. And there was no big laugh in that episode. Honestly.
Yeah. So
this is not to say that there have not been good Simpsons episodes since then. In fact, there's probably been multiple seasons worth of good episodes, but there have not been 22 seasons worth of good episodes.
No. Is The Simpsons still on right now? How long do you think they're gonna?
Yeah.
So, how long do you think until Trump forces them to cancel The Simpsons?
I don't know. I think if Trump forced them to cancel The Simpsons, Fox would, Disney and Fox would sort of, order full orbital response.
Like, do you think that, like, actually, like, perhaps does The Simpsons have more power than Donald Trump? That's the question here. Because I know, like, South Park did
for our sake, I hope.
Yeah, I know, like, South Park did something, and everyone is like really excited about that. And I mean, I guess that's good.
I don't really care.
Yeah, I'm kind of.
The South Park was never the same.
I mean, South Park. Yeah. I'm kind of like, I haven't seen it, but I'm like, I can guess. Is it Trump being gay? That's what they usually do,
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that it's like, oh, they did the thing they did with Saddam Hussein, because
Yeah. The smart thing to do would be for Stephen Colbert to say Donald Trump fucks dogs. Sue me.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't sue him, he's hiding something. If he does, he's hiding something.
Yeah. Well, strange times since apparently the president of the United States is a weirdo rapist pedophile, and we have to rearrange the entirety of like American culture and law to make sure that he never has to suffer any consequences for this. Fucked up, if you ask me. I'm just saying.
It really is like 2008 all over again.
Yeah.
And 1988 all over again when you think
I think that God.
And 2000 all over.
What a terrible country. Terrible country.
God.
Someone should make.
We need to move to the Antarctic.
Yes. Actually, Arctic. Pokey lives in the Arctic.
Oh, he doesn't. He does. Okay.
Yeah, unusual for a penguin, I know, but yes, he actually does live in the Arctic. That's canon. We should all go there because there's a lot of Arctic Circle candy. No Italians. It's nice. It's nice.